Hi, sweeties. How are you doing? Welcome tonight. Saying thank you so much for the support. Hope you all are doing great. Now, I am seeing videos of some people saying that they meant well and they've been fighting for every other person. You all know that you are lying because you all have not been fighting for every other person. You all are looking for a way to benefit you. And the fact that MAGAs do not even understand where it's going on. I saw a video, sorry, a comment where somebody was defending MAGA, saying that is it because we did not vote for Democrat Party? That's why you all are saying that. We are going to learn lesson. It means that if we are learning lesson, every other person will learn lesson. Yes, it is because you voted the wrong person. That's why everybody have to suffer the the silly thing you did. Because if you have voted right, I am sure everybody will be better off. And for some people that were screaming, it was about the groceries and all that. No, it was not about the groceries because it is like clearly and obvious that it is not about the groceries. I see a lot of people losing their jobs and screaming, help us, help us. Who is going to help you? We are also looking for help. Black people are also going through it because not just only you are losing jobs, Black people are also losing their jobs and the rest of it. So you all have to, buckle up and look for a way to figure out what you people did. Now you all can hear the Medicares and all that are also going to be cut and the rest of it. I pray that don't happen, but the way it is, it may happen because the present administration is someone that you all already know how it is going. But I'm going to say this. Now, MAGA, I want you all to know that if there is anything other people are going through, it was because you all voted against your own interest. And for that reason, my own people have to suffer with you people. Let's get into this.
This is just a hilariously wrong take. I mean, we can look at like any civil movement in the United States history, and it's been left wing anarchists right there fighting for the good of all people in every single instance. We can go into how black anarchism played an immense role in the civil rights movement and has been historically fought by the United States, like the MOVE bombing. We can look how left wing anarchists in the women's rights movement were persecuted. People like Emma Goldman getting forcibly deported for their beliefs. But even on a wider scale, left wing anarchists are why you have unions. You probably don't know that either. I would suggest looking up the Coal Wars and see how your government fought on the side of the corporations to protect company towns, and redneck anarchists rose up to fight them. Thousands died, but we got unions. They wanted a hell of a lot more, but that's what the state does. Shuts down movements and gives you the bare fucking minimum. So, hey, if you want to keep being historically inaccurate, keep saying this nonsense. And it's been left wing anarchists right there fighting for the good of all people and every.
I literally got out of a sick bed to address you. You, in particular. I was laying in bed. I don't feel good. And then I saw your video. So I legitimately got in front of my lights and this camera to make sure you saw exactly who I am. So I'm going to ask you a question. If your revolution is so great, why are you hiding your face? I think the days of us putting on masks to hide our revolutionary ideals are over. I do. I don't hide my face. I have made videos where I have wore masks, yes, but they were probably either comedy or, whatever. I don't use filters at all, except for the inverted one, because sometimes I want you to read what I have on my shirt. This time it's just Captain America. So if you believe so much in revolution, why are you hiding your face? I had enough of you left-wing nut jobs to last me a lifetime. Because people such as yourself want a revolution but don't want to do the very first revolutionary thing that you can do. You have a video where you're talking, where you use the audio of Dr. Martin Luther King to talk about how we should support these revolutions. Did you notice King was at front and center of this? So much so that he was hated by 75% of the American population, the white American population, the population that you belong to, the year before he was unalived. Did you notice that? Probably not. You want us to jump off the cliff without a plan. I'm sorry. Maybe when I was younger, I would have thought that. I'm older now, and I don't think like that. When you're older, you might think the same way that I do. The system that we have in America isn't screwed up. It is acting as advertised. And one of the biggest reasons it's able to get away with what it gets away with is because of people like you. I genuinely want you to understand that. If America gave two fucks about the system of government that we have, we'd have a better system of government. You talk about the left-wing anarchists that have gotten things done. Yes, I agree with you. But they also did it through organization. One of the biggest problems in America, you're right, is class. But one of the branches on that class solidarity is racism. And I don't know when this happened. Can't really give you a pinpoint day. But one of the things that happened is that people that look like you stopped caring. They started to look at it from their own selfishness. Just like you're doing right now. See, you would love it if the revolution was started. You just don't want to have to work and put in that work. You want someone else to do it for you. And that's understandable. You're young. You don't know any better. The very first thing you're going to need for any, and I'm going to say this one more time, any sort of revolution is knowledge. You need to recognize the fact that routinely throughout history, especially in this country, it has been people that look like you who have stopped revolution simply because you have to stand next to people that look like me. That's your fault. No one is coming to save us, so we have to save ourselves. And going off willy-nilly is not going to work. You have to use all the tools of revolution, not just the ones that make you feel comfortable. One of those tools, and this goes back to people not giving a fuck about our government, is voting. You must vote for harm reduction before you can start anything. Because if you sit out, if you vote stupidly, or if you just don't see a difference between 1 and 2, what you end up with is perpetually chasing your tail. You will be running around in a circle wondering why you just can't catch that tail. But I'm pretty sure you don't know anything about that. I don't even have to ask how you voted. You have the smell, and mind you, I can't smell a goddamn thing because I'm sick, but you have the smell of someone who voted stupidly. Where are you when it comes to local elections? Where are you when it comes to voting for your community? Yet you want to talk this revolutionary wording and things of that nature. You're not even doing the very first part of it correctly. I would ask you to do better, but at this point, I don't really put very much faith in people that think like you. you are going to perpetually chase your tail. But you're going to scream, revolution, while doing it. You're wasting your time. You're wasting our time. Maybe, and I'm just spitballing here, you should try a different tactic. Because what you're doing right now isn't working. And if you want to have this conversation, maybe you should show your face.
I promise you, I'm not using this as an opportunity to laugh at the white women who have been crying since they went to Red Note. No. What I'm going to do is, first of all, y'all remember the article that came out a few years ago? Well, a lot of articles have come out about this, but white people have never cared, where they said racism is costing America a fuck ton of money. Y'all remember that article? I remember the article. They didn't give a fuck. No one cared. No one cares. Even though it was affecting them then, they had gotten so used to living shitty that they didn't understand it. But now with Red Note, you watching everyone cry. You're watching all these white women come on here to cry about how sad and fucked up life in America is. And it's like, if you only listen to black people, we know you never will because we've seen 500-year history of it. But we've been trying to tell you that everything that's wrong with this country is so because your grandpapa, they're still alive, by the way. Your grandfather's still alive. Those Second World War vets, they're still alive. Go see them. They put you in this position because for them, they would rather you die with debt than have a nigger have health care. So, thank your parents. Thank your grandparents. Thank your granduncles, your meemaws, your mamas. Yeah, they fucked you. But I have a question for black people. Actually, the question for black folk, I'm gonna wait till another video and I'll ask that specifically. But let's finish. As you can see here, racism the cost of racism in America is in the trillions, right? So that means a lot of you white people make it money, right? You could have more money, 3 times as much money in your pocket, but because they don't want niggers to have it, you don't. And people talking about healthcare, look down there. It says Black American population bore 69% of the economic burden. That's one thing. But look, Black Americans had 1.63 million excess deaths relative to white Americans over the last 2. And that is the reason why you don't have healthcare. Because as much as it fucks you, it's killing us faster. Everything that's hurting you is hurting us more. The difference is we have learned to adapt. We've learned to live under these conditions for the last 40, 50, 100 years. You're about to start learning. And what's the rest are scared of is now this process where you start learning how to adapt in this situation. We that already know how to live in this situation, we're moving up while you're trying to figure it out. So either way you put it, y'all fucked. Black people are coming up top.
I have hit the point that when I see a Harris Wall sign, it enrages me. Everything is so expensive. Our grocery bill is $500 a week. So when I see celebrities and elites with trust funds get on TV and tell me what's morally right, I'm infuriated. Because you tell me what's morally right about rationing bacon to your children. You tell me what's morally right about not being able to afford Christmas for your children. Under President Trump, my family was thriving.
So last year you were crying because the cost of everything was too high. You had to ration bacon. You couldn't buy your kids socks. Your husband's job wasn't adding up to what it had used to add up to. And you guys were spending like $400 to $500 on groceries each week. And it just was untenable. And you would get so mad because people like Whoopi Goldberg would get on here and tell you it was the moral choice to vote for Kamala Harris. But I mean, in your words, like, who are they to tell you that when they're all rich elites with like trust funds and all that type of stuff? So how dare they tell you like what the moral choice is when you were suffering the economic consequences in your mind of Joe Biden? So you got the guy that you voted for, the literal elite Nepo baby, who's given the government over to a whole bunch of other elite Nepo babies who are now gutting the government and taking things out of many of the things that your family depends on in terms of services and supports within the government. And they're taking that to put money back into the money of the real elites, not Whoopi Goldberg, but into the pockets of actual billionaires, right? But suddenly the tears are gone. The tears have evaporated. Like I can't find them. Because see, nothing is cheaper anymore. It's not like you're having less of a time buying bacon, or easier time buying bacon now, but the tears are gone, which is very suspicious to me because it's almost as if a certain campaign had a big budget for social media influencers who looked a certain way and sounded a certain way and could cry on cue to relate to people that they wanted to cross over to vote against their own interests. And to say that it was about prices and all that, when actually at the end of the day, it was just good old-fashioned racism. And as long as he keeps delivering on racism, you guys will stay in
The only way to get MAGA to understand what is going on in America right now is not through debate, not through conversation, not through any other means of education. The only way MAGA is going to understand what's going on in America is when it hits their pocketbook, when they start losing them jobs, when their Medicare is cut, when things become more expensive, when their medications get more expensive. That is the only way they're going to be able to see the folly of their ways. Because at the end of the day, they had to sell their constituents a dream. And that dream is, you're not the loser. It's because all of these other things that are in the way. Because MAGA cannot deal with their crippling mediocrity. Now, this by far has not been something that's unfamiliar to presidents who need to rile up their constituents by blaming other people of different creeds, origins, religions, and even women, in order to rile up this base in order to get their votes. I mean, that's a tale as old as time in this country. However, in this unique space that we sit in today, information is so readily available at the touch of your fingertips that the only way that you can believe these lies in this race-based sciences and all of this race.
This is all I got from this video. The truth is that some people really do not care about other people. Some people do not care how you are faring as a black person. Some people do not care about how Latinos and other people are faring. I don't really care about other communities, but one thing for sure is that they do not care about you. That the fact that you all are trying so hard to align with them is just something that I do not understand. Now, let me say this today. I've been saying this for a longer time. It was never about the prices of the food or groceries or anything or gas that you all thought it was very expensive. I saw a black man's comment while I was going through most of those videos, and the other man that spoke about how MAGAs think that are because it's not affecting them, or because some of them feel like it's not going to ever affect us. Maybe probably by the time it will get to our turn, there definitely will be a way out. So many MAGAs, this is how they believe. They felt like because I voted for this person, nothing is going to happen. I may not be deported. I might get bonus discounts and all that. But nothing like that comes with being a MAGA. What I am experiencing as someone that is not MAGA is also what you are going to experience. That is something they do not tell you about politics, because some of you are so dense that you do not understand how politics work. I have never ever seen where people finish campaigning, do elections, win, and start telling you that there is somewhere that I am going to map out so that people that voted for me will be able to benefit more from that. Rather, the best they will do is that those godfathers, the ones that brought out that brought more money, that gave the best support, we definitely have tax courts and all that. We have prominent positions at the White House, which you, as every other MAGA, do not have and will never have access to that. That is also one of the reasons why when we talk about how the poor masses will suffer about this election, that the whole new president and all that, it is the poor masses that will suffer it. The bourgeois, nothing concerned them with what we are screaming. Why? Because they can easily go to hospital anywhere in the world that they want. They feel like, oh, okay, I don't want to go to hospital here in US. I am going to maybe another country. You see them, they pack up their bags, they leave. which you as the masses may not have the opportunity to even buy a ticket to fly over the other countries. Some people also do not have passports, right? I don't know if that does make sense. All these things are the things you all never considered and did not even think of before jumping into voting for someone that I do not understand. Now you all can see how the Medicare is also, they are talking about cutting all that off. Some of you will really understand the weight of what you all did. Maybe not now for those that it is not, it's hitting now, but eventually you will say it, because as time goes on, that your elderly aunts, uncle, mom, and all that may not be able to go to hospital and you have to pay through your eyes. How do you want to live the rest of your life paying medical bills? Is that not absurd? Absolutely very absurd. Now I understand. The woman that said she spent $4,500 a week for groceries, what are you buying? Madam, what are you buying? So if you could afford $4,500 a week for groceries, why would your children have to share bacon? You see how you all lie around like we don't even know the value of money, or we don't know how groceries work and all that. We know all that. If you can afford to spend $4,500 for groceries, trust me, your children will not be sharing bacon, except you give birth to 100 children. You have 100 children that you are training. I am going to draw the curtain, because speaking so much on you people, you all to enter from here and to go from the other person. Now, I love how you all think black people are going to. No, black people have been, you take them to a forest or desert, they will still come out alive with their swag, right? But you cannot. By the time you hit the sun, you definitely will, and you're looking like sad meal. And you all already know how the sun is not so good for you. I mean, like straight up sunburn, red berets. See you all in my next video. Bye for now.